going on, guys? College basketball Tuesday. I say it all the time. You guys hear me. If you've been with the channel for a few weeks now, Tuesdays are my favorite day. Tuesdays and Saturdays, by far the best 2 days of the week. I prefer Tuesdays. I'll go ahead and put my record for how about like the last 3 weeks combined. I'll put that record on the screen right now of how I've done over the last 3 Tuesdays. So super excited. You guys heard me in yesterday's video. I said it's like the worst Monday I've seen in like a month. I'm gonna say it. I don't sugarcoat shit. You guys know that. You know I keep it fucking real on this channel. You know I tell you straight to your face exactly what I'm thinking every single day on every single game. This is a very tricky Monday. I said it was ugly. We had only 2 members. I didn't like anything, but we put out 2 picks and we lost both of our picks. Kansas State, which is actually what I ended up putting on the whiteboard, up 22 at half at home. And you let West Virginia come back? I mean, I think it was even a 30-point margin at some point in the game. So that was a that was a crazy loss. Kansas State looked like the right side for almost the entire game. And then TCU, a team that went 0 for 8, I think, 3-pointers in the first half. TCU had 2 different stretches in the Baylor game where they had an 8-minute stretch without a single field goal. It was just one of those nights. That's what you guys get when you bet on college basketball. That's why I always come on here. I emphasize unit management. I emphasize no parlays because on any given night, even a team like TCU can just completely, it looked like they were on fucking horse tranquilizers. The Baylor players, they looked like they did fucking a few key bumps in the back locker room. I mean, the Baylor players were going crazy. The TCU players were half asleep. That's college hoops. These are kids. We don't always know exactly what you're going to get. And that's why it's important to kind of have a strategy in how much you're wagering and how big certain bets should be is what it is. We move on. If you guys do want to become a member, probably a really good opportunity to do so. I already have 5 picks posted for this Tuesday for members. Probably might add another 1 or 2. Shooting for a pretty big day here. You guys see the record of my last 3 Tuesdays combined. And coming off a losing day is also a good opportunity. We were 75% winning rate over the weekend, a 5-2 day and a 4-1 day. 0-2 yesterday, no biggie. You have those days mixed in, light volume, and Tuesday is going to be awesome. We'll get it right back. Let's go ahead and, you know what? I'm just going to cut it short. I have some notes. I was going to recap kind of what I saw on Monday. There's just not a whole lot. My TikTok link in the description as well. I put out a free pick on TikTok every single day. Make sure you guys follow me over there. The only thing I really have to take away from Monday is TCU had a bad day. Baylor did great. That's enough for that game. Kansas State is back to who they were for 3/4 of the season. God awful. West Virginia, 2 road games in a row, they covered the spread. Go figure. Pretty crazy stuff. UNC game. Told you guys yesterday in the video that I did lean UNC, but I told you if you were gonna, I said you can't bet on this game because we have no clue the mentality of this Miami team that's going to show up. Who's playing? Who's not playing? Are they going to get killed by 40 or are they going to about win the game outright? We got a pretty good effort. They were just drilling 3-pointers. UNC was a super square public pick. It was not part of my selection for that exact reason. I don't like betting on Miami. I don't like betting against them. Just a volatile team. They're talented. So yeah, it's just one of those teams. I think that's pretty much it from Monday. Nothing else really stuck out to me. The UNC game, Baylor, whatever. Not important. Let's get into Tuesday's games. I'm going to try to what am I doing here? I'm going to try to make today's video just a little bit more bang, bang, bang. Let's get right into the games, guys. Tuesday, we got a lot of them. Let's get through them. We're going to go through every single one. Hopefully you guys appreciate that. Drop a like on the video. Of course, in the comments below, let me know out of all these Tuesday games, what do you guys like? What are you going to be betting on? Does anyone have some good parlays? Everybody always likes to bounce ideas off each other in the comments. So definitely load that comment section up. Let's see here. Let me bring up the slate. It is a big one. It is an awesome one. There are some games that I absolutely love. Love. College hoops, Tuesday. Here we go. I'm using FanDuel for this video today. Georgetown, Villanova. I'm currently seeing 15.5. So that's down. It opened at 16.5, I believe, with 62% of the money on Nova. This is a stay away game. Do not bet this. Do not bet this. I'm telling you right now, do not bet this game. If you have to bet it, take the points with Georgetown. This just feels like a 12, 13 point. This is going to be like by the skin of your teeth. You cover with one side or the other. I'm not betting it. I have zero interest. No doubt Villanova wins the game. I feel like that's a pretty heavy spread. Georgetown is coming off a win, though. Let's not forget. They beat DePaul barely. They could be in that mindset like, okay, we got to win. Thank God we got to win. It's over. The losing streak is over, and they're just going to get killed. Nova kind of needs they might need to kind of beat the crap out of some teams to try to like impress the people who put together the brackets to maybe be able to squeeze Villanova in, depending on how other teams play. Villanova might be focused. They could beat them by 35. No interest. Miami, Ohio, Bowling Green. Absolutely no clue here. The line looks accurate to me. 3.5. I feel like that's what it should be. I'm going to lean Bowling Green at home here, but at 3.5, you're starting to get up into that danger zone. 4.5, 5.5, this is really getting there. See what happens with the line. Akron, Ohio. I like Akron as the better team, but it's a road environment at Ohio. Probably give me Ohio on the money line. Georgia, LSU. I mean, these are just kind of bottom feeders of the conference. LSU slightly better. At home. Off a loss, I believe. More athletic. We saw him take down Kentucky. That was a premium play. I was on LSU in that game. I don't know here, guys. 3.5. It's going to be a nail biter. I'm going to lean LSU, home court advantage. Not really sure. Not betting it. No interest. Davidson, Dayton, a 9.5 point spread. That seems pretty high. Davidson has some talent. 9.5. Dayton at home, 9.5. We saw Dayton need kind of a second half push to get by Duquesne at home. Davidson, 9.5 points. I'm going to lean Dayton. Don't love it. Wisconsin, Indiana. The money split, 52% of bets on Wisconsin. Look, I know this makes no sense. For like the last, I think the last 2 videos that I've done where Indiana was one of the games that I went over, I said fade them. I said they're done, they're cooked, put a fork in them. They're tapped out mentally. Their offense sucks. Indiana's horrible, poorly coached. I think they're going to win this fucking game. I think this is going to make absolutely no sense. Give me the 4.5 with Indiana. This just feels like, I don't know, their last win of the season. Wisconsin, a better team at home. 4.5, it makes no sense. Wisconsin should be favored by like 7.5. Wisconsin, wildly better. Indiana's been absolutely horrible. Give me Indiana getting 4.5 at home. Cincinnati, Houston. This is kind of like the UNC game. We're basically all things point to a Houston comfortable win, but it comes down to what does Cincinnati want to do? If Cincinnati gives like their heart and soul, because they've basically played themselves out of the tournament. They were on the bubble. They just couldn't get by the games that they had to win. Are they done? Do they know they're done? Do they not care anymore? Are they going to get blasted by 40 here? Or do they give everything they have to try to maybe like win out in the season and still like sneak into the tournament? If they show up and they give everything they have, they can cover the number, but I'm leaning Houston here. Houston won the first matchup in Cincy and had a big second half. You know, they won the second half on the road by 8. If they come out and they're up like 7, 8, 10 points at half, they're going to cover 13. Cincinnati's offense really struggles at times. It's definitely going to struggle against Houston. Give me Houston here. I think Cincinnati's cooked. Their offense is miserably bad, like horribly bad. Then you put that against Houston. I just can't see Cincy getting 50 points in this game. They're gonna struggle to score. Pittsburgh, Clemson. Boy, this line feels just a bit steep. 7.5. We've seen Pitt show up and have some great performances on the road. 7.5. This is a good line. I mean, this is correct. This is where it should be. It should be somewhere between 5.5 and 7.5. I think it's at the upper end of what it should be at. I'm going to have a slight lean towards Pittsburgh and the points, but Clemson has the offensive firepower to definitely cover this spread. This is a for sure pass. Don't bet this one either. This is a coin flip. I'm going to take the points with Pitt. I don't love it. Kentucky goes on the road to Mississippi State. The line's currently 3.5. Mississippi State favorite 3.5. I think we all know what to do. I mean, this is something that might not make sense to you guys if you're kind of new to the industry or you haven't done this for a while. I've been betting on college basketball for 13 years. Number 16 in the country, who just put up 117 points on Bama at home. Now they're on the road and they're a 3.5 point underdog. Do you kind of see how that doesn't make sense? Mississippi State. Now, I think this line was 2.5 when it opened, or maybe even 2. And when you're playing against Kentucky, once you start to get up near 4.5, if you guys are seeing this in the morning, because I record these videos overnight, if you're seeing this tomorrow afternoon or in the morning here on what for you guys would be a Tuesday, well, I guess it's Tuesday for me too. It's 2 in the fucking morning on Tuesday. If you guys are seeing this at 4.5, just pass. You're too late to the party. Mississippi is the right side. I believe Mississippi State wins this game. There's no doubt about it. But when you start to get up into 4.5, 5.5 range, you're playing with fire. You're asking for a backdoor cover. Kentucky has the offense to at least, be somewhat competitive here. Mississippi State will hold on. They'll get the win. They could smash them. I mean, Kentucky, they're playing a pretty good defense here. They just dropped 117 against Bama. We might see kind of a bipolar episode here, kind of like that LSU spot. LSU upsetting Kentucky when Kentucky was off of a big win. This could be a similar spot. BYU, Kansas, very, very accurate line, in my opinion. 6.5. I think that's exactly where it should be. I have zero idea how to bet the game. It is very hard for me to believe Kansas in late February at the Fog that they're going to lose. Covering 6.5. I've been pretty consistent this year saying Kansas is not good. They have no depth. This comes down to BYU's three-pointer. If they're falling, BYU covers this game, and it's going to come right down to the last shot to see who wins it. But if BYU is having one of those days that they've had sort of recently, they're going to get killed here. I mean, they lost to Kansas State. Kansas State with a pretty comfortable win. Kansas State's not a good program. Kansas significantly better. There's always a very friendly officiating edge that goes to Kansas when they're at home this time of the year. I'm going to lean Kansas to cover the 6.5, but this is up to BYU. If their shot is on, if their shots are falling, they have the better depth. They're just as athletic. BYU can win this game outright. Tiny little lean at Kansas. The other thing, guys, Kansas is a huge public play. 88% of the money on Kansas. If this line stays at 6.5 all day long, up to tip-off, still 6.5, then BYU is the side I would bet if I had to. With all this money coming in on Kansas, the book should reflect that. This should move. This should go to a 7, 7.5, maybe even higher, if this much money is on Kansas. Sneaky game. This one could be interesting. This will be one where you just want to simply sit back and watch. It'll be a wonderful game to watch. Hard game to wager. What else we got here? Penn State, Iowa. Penn State, man, they show up in weird spots. Seen them be pretty good. Gave them out -2.5 over Indiana. Indiana's horrible. That was at home. They had the big Illinois win at home, but they played in some weird gyms, some smaller gyms. It was a weird mojo thing. They stole the game at the very end. Illinois choked away like a 13-point lead with a few minutes to play. They could get creamed here. Iowa's been playing better. Iowa, what? They went on the road and beat Michigan State, was it? And then they were competitive, but didn't quite win their last game. I'm having a mind blank. I don't want to waste time looking it up. 8.5. You're starting to pay a premium price here with Iowa. Iowa's the right side. They're going to win. They've been playing better here, especially at home. Penn State off a couple of wins. One in particular they shouldn't have had. They've been kind of sneaky better on the road. Give me Iowa. This is such a small lean. 8.5 is that's a pretty premium price to pay to bet Iowa here. If it was like 5.5, I'd love it. Love, love, love. And I know that's super easy to say. Oh, well, yeah, no shit, you idiot. They're fucking favored 8.5. Of course, if they were favored 5.5, you'd like it. No, but like I really mean that. Like this feels high to me. It feels like I'm paying like extra tax on something. 8.5, Iowa. Penn State's showing a little bit of life. Lean Iowa. Don't love it. Wake Forest, Notre Dame. Boy, Wake off a court storming. I mean, it's almost a system play at this point. You just go against the team. A team that storms the court and is off a big win, you should almost always go against them, but I can't do it. Not with Notre Dame's talent level. I have to go with Wake Forest here. I feel like Notre Dame's going to cover, but I have to go with Wake Forest. I cannot bet Notre Dame, even in a spot where they should have a huge emotional advantage. Interesting game. Texas Tech and Texas. This one is in Lubbock. This is the last time, sadly, with Texas going off to the SEC, that, this is the last time this is going to be a basketball game in this particular building for quite some time, possibly ever. Sad, but if you don't think Texas Tech is going to be like running and gunning with everything they have in this game, you're fucking nuts. Not to mention they're off an embarrassing loss. Give me Texas Tech. The line has already moved, though. I like it at a lower number. It's up to 4.5. I don't know if you're going to quite get a 5, but Tech's the right side. I believe they win the game. When you start talking 4.5, 5.5, Texas becomes a little bit more attractive. But the guards for Texas stink. Texas Tech is a different animal at home. Give me the Red Raiders. NC State, Florida State, just a game that doesn't really make sense. Give me Florida State at home. Florida State team that's vastly underachieved. NC State team kind of on the bubble. But just because the team's on the bubble doesn't mean they're automatically going to show up. It's a road game. Florida State has a talented roster. Give me Florida State minus the 2.5. Gut feeling. Just by watching enough basketball, I just feel like Florida State's going to get it done. Maybe even look at the money line too. Minus 140. Take the 2.5 points out of it. Probably the better idea. Vanderbilt, Arkansas. Arkansas been playing much better lately. 2 wins in a row. Vanderbilt had that one upset win over A&M, and they just keep getting flattened. You got to look Arkansas at home here. I don't love it, though, because Arkansas is not a team I want to get behind, especially laying almost double digits. And Vanderbilt has shown some fight at the ends of these games, but I still got to lean Arkansas here. Utah State, Fresno, boy, 11.5. Utah State coming off a big win. Utah State much better at home. This conference in general, these games in general, man, tough on the road. 3 straight losses for Fresno. Fresno is horrible. Utah State significantly better. But we're talking a spread. We're talking a spread of 11.5. Give me Fresno with 11.5. Utah State probably wins by 8 or something. Nevada, Colorado State. Talk about line movement. It's up to 7.5. I think it opened at 3.5. 7.5. Boy, it's getting up there, isn't it? I still lean Colorado State. Nevada's a much better team at home. Colorado State coming off a tough loss. Actually, 2 of them. I forgot. Colorado State's coming off 2 losses. Now they're at home where they play better. Catching a Nevada team off 3 straight wins. Yeah, Colorado State's winning the game. No doubt about it. Nevada. Is Nevada going to hang in there and cover 7.5? I'm going to say no. I'm going to still go with Colorado State. I think the line will continue to go up. I think by tip-off, we're looking at 8.5. And that's a ton of line movement. And it supports the winning team in this spot, I believe. But 7.5, I still got to go with the home team. Give me Colorado State. I think they still win by close to double digits or more. And around at the night, an 11 o'clock Eastern game, San Jose State is catching 22.5 points at San Diego State. Lay it. Give me San Diego State at home minus 22.5. And if you're betting something like that because you lost your money and it's the last game of the day and you want to get your money back, maybe just move on to Wednesday. So that's Tuesday. There's a bunch of games in there. Let me scroll through here, guys. We'll go ahead and put one on the whiteboard. I'm going to go with one that is going to be surprising. It's going to be against the grain. And a lot of people might not like this pick. You guys don't have to bet this. This is only a free pick I'm putting on the whiteboard. I do it for fun every video. We've hit some winners. Take it with a grain of salt. But I think I got a sneaky pick that's going to hit for you guys. Give me Indiana, the team that's been absolutely lifeless, to get probably their last win of the season. Take the 4.5 points. I think it could be an upset. I think Wisconsin could lose to Indiana. And if Indiana loses again by like 20, I'm not going to be shocked at all. But just gut feeling based on recency things, that makes zero fucking sense. That line should be like 8. It should be 8.5, 7.5, 8.5. It's 4.5. Indiana is going to cover 4.5. I think they're going to win the game outright. Drop a like on the video, guys. Would appreciate that. See if we can get to 300 likes for this video. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next one.